Can't wait to see you tonight. Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about it. Before I tell you what happened here, please subscribe to our channel and click on the notifications bell so you never miss out on our new stories. Eleanor and Stanley Grant had always been the couple that everyone looked up to. In their early 40s, they lived in a stately home in the upscale part of town and seemed to have it all: a successful business, a strong social circle, and two beautiful young children, Ava, age 6, and Liam, age 4. Eleanor ran her own interior design firm, known for working with high-end clients, while Stanley was the CEO of a tech company that had made them wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. They were the epitome of a power couple working hard, raising a family, and keeping up appearances. But beneath the surface, things weren't as perfect as they seemed. Stanley had been going through a midlife crisis. He'd started buying expensive toys like a new sports car, talking about finding himself, and spending more late nights out networking. Eleanor noticed, but she was so busy with her growing business and the kids that she pushed the concerns to the back of her mind. Then there was Grace, the 25-year-old nanny who came into their lives a year ago. She was hired to help with Ava and Liam as Eleanor's business expanded, and at first everything seemed fine. Grace was cheerful, efficient, and great with the kids. She became a fixture in their home, and Eleanor trusted her completely. She even felt a bit of relief knowing that Grace was there to pick up the slack while she and Stanley were busy with their work. But Stanley's midlife crisis wasn't just about cars and nights out. He had begun an affair with Grace, something that Eleanor had absolutely no clue about until one slip-up shattered her world. It was a typical weekday afternoon. Eleanor was in the middle of a Zoom meeting when her phone pinged with a text message. She glanced at it absent-mindedly, expecting it to be a reminder for one of the kids' activities or maybe a message from Stanley. Instead, she saw a message from Grace in the family group chat. Can't wait to see you tonight. Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about it. Eleanor froze. She blinked, staring at the message, trying to comprehend what she was seeing. Her stomach dropped, and a cold sensation of dread crept up her spine. The family group chat. Grace had clearly meant to send that to Stanley privately. She quickly exited the Zoom call, her hands shaking as she read the message again. It felt like the ground had shifted beneath her feet. Was this really happening? She read it a third time, hoping against hope that she was misunderstanding. But there it was, in plain text, clear as day. Before Eleanor could say anything, the phone pinged again. Grace had followed up with, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That wasn't meant for this chat. Please don't say anything." Eleanor was in shock. Her mind raced as she tried to make sense of it all. How long had this been going on? Why hadn't she noticed anything sooner? Her initial response was to confront Grace or call Stanley immediately. But instead, she took a deep breath and decided she needed to handle this with a level head. She wasn't going to blow up or act rashly. Not yet. She had to think this through. That night, Eleanor didn't say a word to Stanley when he came home. He acted normal, kissed her on the cheek, played with the kids, and later joined her in the living room after they were put to bed. He even laughed a little at how Grace sent that message to their group, as it was clearly meant for her boyfriend. She sat there watching him, her mind swirling with questions. He didn't realize that Eleanor already realized what was going on, and that was going to be her advantage. The next morning, Eleanor contacted a private investigator. She wanted proof. Undeniable, irrefutable proof of the affair. She wasn't going to accuse Stanley until she had all the facts laid out in front of her. 2 weeks later, Eleanor sat in her office reviewing the findings from the PI. It was all there. Pictures of Stanley and Grace meeting up at hotels, texts that had been retrieved, even details about their late-night rendezvous in the family home when Eleanor was away for business. Her worst fears were confirmed. Stanley had been cheating on her for months. Eleanor closed the file and felt a surge of cold anger rise inside her. She wasn't going to let Stanley get away with this. She had worked too hard to build this life, to build their family, for him to destroy it over a fling with the nanny. She wasn't just going to divorce him. She was going to make sure he paid for his betrayal in every way possible. The next step was finding the best divorce lawyer in the city. Eleanor was determined to get sole custody of Ava and Liam, as well as a significant portion of their assets. She had no intention of letting Stanley walk away from this unscathed. Eleanor scheduled a meeting with her lawyer, Marissa Cohen, a tough, no-nonsense attorney known for winning high-profile divorce cases. When Eleanor laid out the details of Stanley's affair and handed over the proof, Marissa's eyes narrowed with a calculating gleam. "You've got him, Eleanor," Marissa said firmly. "We're going to make sure he doesn't get away with this. I'll file for sole custody and alimony, and make sure his reputation takes a hit if that's what you want." Eleanor nodded. "I want it all. I want people to know who he really is. He's not going to humiliate me like this and get away with it." 2 weeks later, Eleanor sat across from Stanley in their kitchen, their children playing in the backyard, unaware of the storm brewing inside. Stanley had no idea what was coming. Eleanor had stayed cool, never letting on that she knew about the affair. "Stanley," she began calmly, "we need to talk." Stanley looked up from his phone, sensing the seriousness in her tone. "What's going on?" "I know about Grace," Eleanor said bluntly, watching his face for a reaction. Stanley's expression froze. He looked at her, trying to gauge how much she knew. "What do you mean?" he asked, feigning ignorance. "I mean, I know you've been sleeping with her. I know about the hotels, the texts, all of it. I hired a private investigator." The color drained from Stanley's face. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. He wasn't prepared for this. "Eleanor, Save it," she interrupted coldly. "I don't care about your excuses. You've betrayed me and this family. I've already filed for divorce. You're going to be hearing from my lawyer soon." Stanley's eyes widened in panic. "Divorce? Eleanor, wait, let's talk about this. It was a mistake. I was going through something." "I don't want to hear it," she snapped, her voice filled with ice. "You didn't think about your something when you were sneaking around with the nanny." Stanley looked desperate now. "Please, Eleanor, don't do this. I love you and the kids." "Love? You've got a funny way of showing it. You don't love me, Stanley. You love yourself. And you're going to regret the day you ever crossed me." Stanley looked like he was about to protest again, but Eleanor cut him off. "I'm filing for sole custody of Ava and Liam. I'm taking half of everything, and I'm making sure everyone knows why this marriage ended. You're not walking away from this without consequences." As promised, Eleanor made the affair public. Word spread quickly among their social circle and through Stanley's company. The once admired CEO was now the subject of whispers and side-eye glances. His reputation took a hit as employees and colleagues learned the truth, and Grace, the nanny, quickly quit and moved out of the city in shame. Eleanor, on the other hand, emerged from the divorce stronger than ever. With Marissa's legal prowess, she secured full custody of the kids and a significant financial settlement. Stanley had visitation rights, but his time with the kids was limited, and his relationship with them was strained. Julia, Eleanor's close friend, asked over a glass of wine one evening, "Do you feel any better now that it's all out in the open?" Eleanor shrugged. "I don't know. Maybe. It still hurts, you know, but at least I took control." He thought he could just have his affair and that I'd never find out. "Well, you did more than just find out," Julia said, smirking. "You burned the whole house down." Eleanor smiled. "Yeah, I guess I did." Months passed, and Eleanor adjusted to her new life as a single mother. She focused on her kids, her business, and herself. The affair and the divorce were still fresh, but each day she felt a little stronger. As for Stanley, he was left picking up the pieces of his life, wondering how it had all gone so wrong. What do you think about this story? Let us know in the comments. And please don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. Bye.